David. Doesn't it sometimes feel like advertising is everywhere?
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, advertising messages are just trying to pull your attention. Whether they're on the side of city buses or in the subway or being broadcast through your head through live streams like Pandora or delivered to your door. Some magazines now are almost fully an advertisement. You have to flip through hundreds of pages just to find one darn article to read. No matter what you're doing or where you are, it just feels as though advertising is trying to get right in your face, especially online. My fiance recently went on my computer to look for a pair of shoes. Well, over the last couple of weeks, this same pair of shoes have been following me all around the internet. Almost stalking me through these banner ads. It's almost like a hostage negotiation where until I decide to buy these shoes, will it decide to stop annoying me? I feel like the consensus among advertisers right now is that you want to throw a lot of advertising versus less, because then you will buy more products. So here in Chicago, it feels like advertising is unavoidable, but if you were to look at Times Square in New York, now that's a whole different story. How many of you have been to Times Square in New York? Just about everybody. So Times Square invented shameless advertising. So much advertising, it can just kind of get you dizzy. There's digital billboards and big, huge screen TVs and all flashing messages and products at you, and it all just kind of blurs together. Times Square has the most billboards per square foot of any place in the world. And because of that, this light show brings around 100 million pedestrians down Broadway each year. And given that, it is the most expensive place to advertise in the United States. In Times Square, right in the middle, in the vortex of Times Square, you have one Times Square building, the crown jewel. Now please turn over the piece of paper. Now even if you haven't seen one Times Square in person, you may have been familiar with it if you ever tuned in to watch the ball drop during New Year's. 1 billion people across the world, tune in to watch the ball drop. And another 1 million people watch it in person from Times Square. Interestingly, with all the advertisements, not uninterestingly, you would imagine that one Times Square is one of the most sought after commercial properties in all of New York because of the high advertising rates. But not surprisingly, there's not much commerce that actually takes place within the building. It's actually empty. Other than the Walgreens sitting at the very bottom of the building, 22 of the 25 floors are just gathering dust. Now please take that piece of paper and crumple it into a ball. Now in 1980, that building went for $10 million in a lawsuit. Well, now it attracts double that per year in advertising rates alone. The building is worth $500 million. But you'd imagine that for a building to garner that kind of valuation, people who walk by would have to recall a lot of the logos that they may have seen on the building. So to do a quick poll to see if it's really worthwhile, I'd like us all to raise our hands. And remember, there's 7 logos on that building. And I'm going to announce numbers 1 through 7. And if you don't know more than that amount, please put your hand down. And the last person I'm going to call on, you're going to have to tell me how many logos you saw and which one they were, so don't feel like you can cheat. How about 1?
Budweiser. Oh,
Independently.
you just mean
Independently. How about 2?
TDK.
Be quiet.
How about 3?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
Twice.
How about 4?
Victim!
Really? How about 5? Okay, what's 5?
Me?
Yeah.
Toshiba, Budweiser, Walgreens, Dunkin' Donuts, Fox News, and TDK. That was given.
Nice job.
Miss
Good
Mouth
job.
here.
All right.
Good job. So for all the rest of us, I believe the majority of us got 1 or 2 cops. And so maybe advertising to all of us, they're really just expensive lights and noisy distractions.
Right.
Because, you know, sometimes logos and ads and fancy advertising don't compel us to go buy more goods. And so while advertisements are trying to get in your face, maybe you can ask it, is it worth it?